All right, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, citizens of YouTube. This is Pastor Dowell. I'm out here with Elias, Ariel, and Gabriel. And what we're doing here today is we're actually going to be working on a very powerful movement here this evening. And we're going to be working on the hook. Actually the right hook and the left hook. I may condense this down a little bit. The reason being is because there's a lot of mechanics involved in throwing the hook. Boxing is all about mechanics, discipline, and core. You have to do core exercises, and that's the reason why you see people doing a lot of working out in between boxing and stuff, because they're trying to develop their mechanics, develop their core, and then once you get the mechanics and the core to be in sync, then you'll become a very effective boxer, Now, today I think what I'm going to do is I'm actually just do a little bit of demonstration. I'm going to do it in slow motion so you can see the mechanics of the left hook, Now, what happens is in a lot of arenas out there when we're speaking about throwing left hooks, or you'll see some people teaching the left hooks, everybody has many different ways of approaching all of these subjects right here. But in boxing, what I have found through experience and learning is that it's best to stay tight. If you watch a lot of people, whether it be street fights or if you ever get into an altercation, most people have little to, if any, discipline at all, and they believe that having a bunch of incoming, or meaning throwing a bunch of punches just wildly and profusely, is actually going to cause them to actually win the battle and the fight. Of course, we earlier went on a lot of defensive mechanisms right now, but let's concentrate on the actual left hook in itself. All right, I have Elias standing with the body, having one hand face towards the body, the other one face towards the actual face in itself. Now, boxing, or let's say when we're doing the left hook, remember, it's all about staying loose. You have to stay loose and you use your toes. You stay loose and you use your toes. You use your toes and your pivots. Now, the power of the left hook, is in the mechanics. And the mechanics of it is when you're throwing the left hook. When you're throwing the left hook, it's all about the power that is coming around the front part of your toe, your hip. Most people, when they want to throw the left hook, they want to give a sign that is getting ready to come by trying to load up. In other words, by dipping the shoulder and then loading up, and then they're coming. And when they come around, they usually have themselves wide open and use a whipping motion like this. That's bad mechanics, because you don't want to open yourself wide open for somebody who is experienced and knowing what they're doing, to actually give them a bigger target and a bigger area to come in and actually hit you. So the ideal is you want to stay tight. You want to keep your elbow in tight, and you don't want to load up when trying to throw the left hook like some people do teach. All right, you always want to keep your guard up no matter which hand that you're throwing. The opposite hand needs to be up, but it's all in the mechanics. So if I'm up here with Elias and I'm up here, I'm getting ready to box. Here's the motion for the left hook. The motion for the left hook is here, and if you notice, when I'm pivoting my foot down right here, if you notice, my shoulder is already leading from, that's where the power of the left hook comes from. All right, it comes from up through the mechanics. You have to twist your foot and your hips. They'll rotate in one unit, and it'll automatically it would bring around your left hook. And you want to keep, again, your elbow in tight, and then let it become a whipping. Like a whipping. Right. You want to practice that. You want to practice this whipping motion, because that's where it's coming from. If you're coming up to the head, same thing, left hook, a whipping motion. Now, the ideal is once you get here, you want to keep your arms relaxed, and then upon impact, that's when you tighten up your fist. That's when you tighten up your fist, and then you unload all the energy that you had coming up. All right, with the right hook, it's pretty much the same thing, except this time, the power and the mechanics is coming from the rear pivot foot. So when you want to throw the hook, you don't want to load up like you're doing like this, acting like you're getting ready to throw a jab, and then you're going to turn around and show and telegraph to someone who could be experienced that a right hook is coming. Because if they see you loading up like this, they automatically know you're coming around. They can defend, and then you're left wide open. Or if you fast enough, you could hit and then come back again with the right. You could come back again 2 times like this. But everything has to do with the mechanics of speed around the waist. Speed around the waist. So you want to stay tight. You want to stay tight. No matter what you're doing with this hook, you stay tight. You stay tight. Now, the difference is the reason why you'll see flared elbows is the distance between the shoulder and the glove. It depends on how much you are out on it or out in it. Because when you're in the actual match, things change. We can sit up here all day long and give you the examples of what to do, but you must practice individually. Okay, so if we were actually doing a left hook to the body, it'll be just like this. And you notice every time I'm pivoting, my shoulder is leading. And what we're doing is we're minimizing and not having a bunch of wasted motion, staying tight and staying guarded. Staying tight, staying guarded. So whether it's a left hook this way and a left hook this way coming back, pow, pow. Everything is all about this rotation. You're tight in here, loose over here to whip it around. You have to have your core. If you're actually doing the right hook, it's the same thing. Same thing. You don't want to try to load up like a lot of people teach. The load up method comes way later on when you get a little experience. For instance, if you throw a left jab, you're already somewhat loaded. Then you can come back with a left hook to the body. We'll get into those combinations a little bit later, but that's pretty much the fundamentals of actually throwing a left hook, whether it be to the body or to the head, or a right hook to the body or to the head. Remember, it's all about the mechanics. The mechanics. Notice how the shoulder is leaning in. You're staying loose, staying loose, staying loose. From here to here, all this is being used as a whipping motion because you're coming off your front foot, you're pivoting from your waist, you're up through your back. This is the pivot motion right here. And by the time you make impact right here, by the time you make impact, you tighten up your fist. That's when you tighten it up. And it's going to take practice. It's going to take practice, but that's how you can hit right and hit hard. Hope you learned something today. Going to get back here to practice with the boys. Shalom. Maybe back here in just a few minutes. Okay, bounce around for a second and then get into position. All right, then go in for the hit, look for the hook. For the hook, swing that waist, the waist. You got to get that waist in there. Remember, the arm is a hooking motion. Hook. Keep that glove up in front of you. Keep your right hand glove up in front of you. All right, just stop for a second. Now just do the twist motion with the waist. The twist motion with the waist. With the waist. We're going to teach y'all boys how to dance. All right, get on that front foot. Get on that front foot. Get on that front foot. All right, the weight distribution should be on the front foot when throwing the hook. All right, the weight distribution should be on the front hook. Because, see, if I was holding that glove and you threw a punch like that, I'd make it stumble back because I would tighten up when you hit, because that would let me know that you're loading up on your rear foot rather than on the front foot when you're throwing the left hook. All right, so when you're throwing the left hook, it's all about the mechanics and pressing down on that front toe and swinging violently around the waist, and that gives that whipping motion that will bring the power. And then upon impact, tighten up your fist. All right. More waist movement, Elias, more waist movement. Load up on the front toe. The front toe, it should be almost like a 60-40 weight distribution. Lead with the hip and the shoulder. Lead with the hip and the shoulder. The arm is just like a connecting motion to it. It's almost like if you're fishing and throwing some bait out there. You throw the rod and then the bait goes last. That's the same thing that happens with the arms right here. Are y'all putting the weight on the front toe? Yes, sir. Weight on the front toe. And keep that left, remember, keep that right up. Now, these are left hooks to the body that we're working on right now. All right, don't throw any punches right now. Just pivot. Pivot. Lean forward, Gabriel, like you're going into the opponent. There you go. Put that glove up. I'm going to teach y'all how to break dance. All right? It's a difficult move. I'll be the first to tell you, so you're going to have to practice this. Y'all hear me?
Yes, sir.
You're going to have to practice it. And that's just on the left. Let's just stick with the left hook before we even think about going to the right, okay?